Well, coming up on today's episode, man, former Ohio State Buckeye Tyvis Powell, former Seattle Seahawk, former Indianapolis Colts, and former Cleveland Brown, and now a strong participant that rocks out on UCSS with G. Bush. Sometimes he's with Earl to Pearl. And also G. Bush, Tyvis Powell, and Earl to Pearl got their own show, branched off from the barbershop. And Tyvis Powell, he's turning heads for the strong statements he said about Shedeur Sanders leading up to this year's training camp on what he has seen in Shedeur Sanders. And he's very optimistic about Shedeur Sanders being the guy for the Cleveland Browns. And we're going to talk about it coming up right after this.
It's go time. Stand up. Simply ball dropping. Let go. Can't stop the man behind the mic, bring you the heat. The hottest podcast on these YouTube streets. Breaking all down as you already know. Sit back, relaxing and enjoy the show. Covering all the topics and the breaking news from the WNBA, NBA. Whatever we choose, NFL topics, we bring no receipts. Giving you facts over your feelings, even if you disagree. Can't stop the man behind the mic, running the show. Simply ball dropping, podcast you already know. Tell a friend to tell a friend as we set these trends. The hottest show on your screen, so let the discussion begin. Hit that subscribe and turn your notifications on and get on the wave, cause you are gonna want more. So drop a like and comment on the video. KSAP up in the building, so let's go.
Well, guys, man, our man Tyvis Powell, man, he had some interesting things to say about Shedeur Sanders, because we didn't heard all the narratives about Shedeur Sanders. We didn't heard all the naysayers talk about the last 7 games of the season he played last year. Some say it was good, some say it was bad. Some people say he was the worst quarterback in the modern day era if you go by the advanced analytics. And there was a time on UCSS that they was talking about Shedeur Sanders, and Jason Lloyd came out and said some things. And the next day, Tyvis Powell took it amongst himself to try to defend Jason Lloyd and take a bullet for Jason Lloyd on some of the nonsense that Jason Lloyd said that he heard about Shedeur Sanders, where he couldn't read NFL defenses. He didn't know when he was hot. He didn't know how to throw receivers open. He didn't know how to slide protections and things like that, and using the advanced analytics. And everybody was, coming at Tyvis Powell for trying to side with Jason Lloyd and try to defend Jason Lloyd. But now Tyvis Powell, he's come to the realization that, hey, Shedeur Sanders, is that guy given the opportunity. And it's been countless shows that he's been on with G. Bush and Earl to Pearl, and they talk about Shedeur Sanders extensively on what they see and what he can provide, and they debunk all the narratives that people are putting out there about Shedeur Sanders. So now Tyvis Powell has a little segment on UCSS, and he has his own little highlight, and he gets to talk football and talk about the Cleveland Browns and talk about Shedeur for an extensive period all by himself to his audience. And there's a segment that he had on UCSS that he was talking about Shedeur Sanders, man, on what he saw from Shedeur Sanders last year. And this is kind of interesting because it's turning heads, and it's the unspoken truth, because Tyvis Powell looks at it in a different aspect, in a different light, and it makes sense. But before we listen to Tyvis Powell, man, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And the crazy thing about it is listening to Tyvis Powell on this segment and listen to what he had to say, it brings light to this whole quarterback competition. And guys, you can sit back and be subjective or objective to what a lot of people say about Shedeur Sanders. But make no mistake about it, listening to people that played the game, played it at a high level, such as Tyvis Powell, Ohio State Buckeye, played in the NFL with the Seattle, Seahawks, with the Indianapolis Colts, and also the Cleveland Browns. He got waived in 2017. They know what the grind is like, and they know what they see. So let's take a listen to what Tyvis Powell had to say as he broke it all down, as he's turning heads on his remarks about Shedeur Sanders. Take a listen.
The reason that I believe that I'm more optimistic about Shedeur than a lot of people are, or a lot of you guys are, is because I'm not naive to the fact that the whole what happened with him and Kevin with the whole no training camp thing, or not getting the reps and having to learn things on the fly. See, y'all look at it as a guy who statistically he didn't put up the statistics that you want. I looked at it as, when I saw him in Baltimore and I saw them do what they did to him in Baltimore, I saw a guy who, even in that, as bad as he looked, still had a chance to win that game. If Gage Larvin catches that ball, we singing a different tune, right? And I know you'll look at it as, well, and a lot of people will look at it as, well, when he came into the game, if I mistake me if I'm wrong, I believe the Browns were. Exactly. So y'all look at it as he came in and he was so bad that they lost the game, that even if he did that, y'all still wouldn't be a believer in him, because he had lost the game and then he had a chance to tie it up or win the game in the end, and he didn't do it. So that's how y'all look at it. But I look at it as a guy who, over the course of however many games that he played, I saw him on the fly get better. I saw him on the fly see the game slow down just a little bit. So it wasn't for 4 quarters by any means, but it was moments where I'm like, all right, it's starting to click for him. He's starting to figure it out. And that just comes when you get reps. So that's why, to me, I'm a little optimistic, because he's getting reps this offseason. Like, this, it isn't, he's on another field with another, throwing to the water boys. Like, It's not that. Like, he's actually getting these reps. And it's like, I'm hoping that the more reps he gets in there, the more that he does it, the more it slows down. And I'm hoping that it clicks for him right before the season starts, or when at some point in the season. Because Bull is right. If Shedeur is the answer, we move forward quicker. Now we're not using a first-round pick on a quarterback. We're using a first-round pick on other areas. So that, to me, is why I am where I am in the boat, to where I would love for them to go out there and win 7 to 8 games this season. And realistically, I feel like there is a road for them to do that. And I'm going to view that road until it's not there.
Now, you heard what Tyvis Powell had to say, man. Very interesting. Very strong statements about Shedeur Sanders. He cleared up a lot of things that, he's not playing both sides of the fiddle. He's standing with Shedeur Sanders. He made some strong statements, man, and I totally agree with him. But the 5 to 6 wins, I see a little bit more than that, Tyvis. I see about, I said on record, if Shedeur Sanders is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns and he plays the whole season, you can get 9 to 10 games. You can get 9 to 10 games, because we already did a breakdown of their whole schedule, man. They got a favorable schedule to start off with, man, and you got to win them games before the weather turns inclement, you know what I'm saying? But we already know what Shedeur Sanders can do in inclement weather. We saw that last year. But I'm just glad that Tyvis Powell finally got some attention on him, and he made the statements he made about Shedeur Sanders, because he looked bad last year defending Jason Lloyd on UCSS's couch. And we got on him for that. And we did a live show, and a lot of people said Tyvis is no longer invited to the cookout. They took his black card from him, because he wanted to stand, and he told people, I'm going to take these bullets for Jason Lloyd. Come on, man, Tyvis, don't do that, man. But I'm just glad he spoke up, and he spoke candidly about Shedeur, and that's what he sees. As being a ex-NFL safety, you read the quarterback's eyes. You know what these quarterbacks see out there. So he knows that Shedeur Sanders is capable. And that's the unspoken truth, man. Shedeur Sanders, banking on what Tyvis said, Shedeur Sanders should be the starting quarterback. It shouldn't even be no discussion about Deshaun Watson. But, hey, kudos to Deshaun Watson. He's putting in work. He's at the facility, putting his videos out there, looking good, looking sharp. But it's almost go time now. It's almost time to put these pads on, man, and see what you're really talking about, man. and see if you still got it. See if you can turn back the clock to 2020, which you said it's going to be hard to do because that's 6 years ago, and you damn near 2 to 3 years removed from NFL football, and the game has changed. The speed has changed, and it's going to be difficult to see what you're capable of doing when them pads on you and these guys are flying at you and these defensive ends are bearing down on you and these nose tackles are coming up the middle and these linebackers chasing you around. So we're going to see what happens, man. But kudos to Tyvis Powell, man, for, speaking up and saying what he said about Shedeur Sanders, man. So, guys, man, like I always say, man, I want to hear your opinion. I want to see what y'all guys think about what Tyvis Powell says. So you know what I always say, man, get down in that comment section.
I see everyone in the comment section, hashtag salute. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you will know every time I drop a hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot, tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And that will wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.